Right folks, we now find ourselves on the Manitou stand, which is showing a bit of a preview of a new machine, and to tell us all about it, we've got Mr. David Clark with us. So David, you lent on it. First of all, what is it? Which one's this?
This, James, is the new MLT 742.
Right.
What we're doing here is we've got some evolutions coming on the new ag range, as we call it. So for us, the new ag range goes from the MLT 630, which I think you demoed and reviewed last year, all the way to the 741.
Right.
What we're doing on all of those models is bringing in some new evolutions on them. It will include two new models though. First of all, the 742,
right,
which is an upgrade from the previous 741.
Yeah.
And
so was that 741 gold then? Or?
Yep, basically, yeah, so a little bit more lift capacity.
Yeah.
And then the 737 is being upgraded to a 738.
Right.
The rest of the range, the model number and capacities are all staying the same.
Yeah.
But we've managed two upgrades on the 7 metres basically.
Right.
We've managed to achieve that because we've now got on the whole range a new design of telescopic boom.
On all of them?
On all of them, all from the 6 metre all the way to the 7, complete new design.
Right.
Now it's a very similar design to what we have on the machine down there, the 841, the bigger generation.
Yeah.
So it's a completely new boom section.
Yeah.
Traditionally a telescopic boom is rectangular in shape. This one actually isn't. The sides of the boom, it's hard to see, but there is actually an additional crease line along that weld and on that side. So the sides of the boom are actually slightly oval shaped.
Right.
And it actually makes the boom stronger.
Right.
Also makes it a little bit wider and we can get more in it. So all of the pipe work that would normally go to the end of the boom, steel pipes that we have previously had underneath, are now inside.
You can sit them inside.
So a bit less vulnerable sort of pipe work inside. Coming to the head of the boom then, we've got all the sort of your main third service, your tilt pipes. But having the new boom arrangement, we can also have more integration for things like greasing systems.
Yeah.
So with this new evolution, all of them we can spec full auto greasing, and that will do every single greasing point except the prop shafts.
Right.
Which is quite hard.
It's a bit tricky to engineer something to deal with that.
All your main bucket pivot
even
linkages.
Everything down here.
Even all your bucket pivot linkages are all greased. If you want to put your head round the back, there is all the manifolds, all the pipe work, every pin is greased.
That's all in there, is it?
It's all greased around that top side. Also, we've got a complete kind of redesign of that swan neck. It's got a heavy duty steel cast section at the front.
Yeah.
So it's a lot stronger in terms of its connection and also really clean in that front element. Wider in the front pivot pins, so stronger in design. So again, more durable.
Yeah.
And because we've got that arrangement and it's kind of like a lighter made assembler than the old design,
so all this
but stronger.
But stronger, wider,
but lighter.
Right.
So what that means is when we lift the machine to full height, on the 742 we can now take another half a ton at full height compared to the previous 741.
Got you.
So that's now up to 3.5
Hence why
ton.
this is now a 742.
Yeah, so 3.5 ton to full height on this machine.
All right.
Versus 3 ton on the previous one.
Yeah.
Which is pretty class leading on this machine. So it's making a more usable use of the same platform. On that 7.2 ton, the 4.2 ton. In terms of, we've gained a little bit lift height, a little bit of forward reach, a couple of centimetres.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main element really is that additional capacity.
Right. And what's brought on this new boom design on your range?
Capacity is one, and that capacity, but we're also streamlining it on production. We currently produce it on the 8 metre.
Yeah.
And that means all of our agricultural range will basically use a very common boom design. So as well on production, we can actually sort of streamline things, speed production up a bit.
Right.
And hopefully keep the costs where they need to be for customers.
Keep them down if you can.
If we can, we can try.
Build in bulk.
There is a few options that we need external for, which hence why on here we've got an external hose reel.
Yeah.
So if a customer does want a free flow return line for like a mixer or something, we still need an external reel for that. But things like cameras, additional services on the boom head, the greasing system is now all internal.
That's
so
it. A lot of those options that you had before, you can build them into it now, rather than just bolting stuff on here and there.
And also easily a retrofit.
Right.
Because things are already kind of ready for it.
Yeah,
ready for it.
So if you want your cameras at a later date, straight away, where you go.
Also on the evolutions on the 7 metre machines, we've got 500 tyres available as an option, always have. but we've now got some bigger mud guards that actually fit them.
Right.
So they're wider, they're longer, and they're also adjustable to suit the size of mud guard. And again, that's just customer feedback telling us that the previous mud guards are okay, but could be a slightly better.
Cover those tyres a little bit better. Right.
So that's one of the main things.
Power plant wise, while we're passing, is that the same as before? Or?
Yeah, drivetrain, power plants, all in the models as we previously had, all the same.
Yeah.
So options on the 6 metres, 116 horsepower. On the 7 metres, 130 or 136 with the power shift or the V+ hydrostatic transmission.
Got you.
So all the kind of model references and the options, configurations we had before are the same. Just a little bit more capacity from that boomer
What
engine.
engine is this one?
It's the Deutz 3.6 Deutz engine, 140 horsepower in this.
There you go, with the V+ being
V+ is your hydrostatic vario. So no gears in effect, just literally rev and go, and it will just sort itself out. 2 drive motors, and it will interchange between 1 and 2 motors.
All right.
Completely automatic.
Depending on what it needs.
Yeah. So 40k on 1.
Yeah.
And then up to 19k on 2 drive
motors.
motors.
All right. So low speed, you've got lots of pushing power. Right, with 2 motors.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then high speed, low.
One motor.
Yeah.
One motor, so we get the speed. But if a customer would like this machine with power shift, we still do it as a 130 horsepower with a 6-speed power shift gearbox.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you seeing more of a trend towards hydros now, or?
I think we still need both. We've got customers, a lot of existing customers who like torque converters.
Yeah.
And then some customers just do like the hydrostatic. So swings and roundabouts.
Got to keep them all happy.
For loading in a yard, the hydrostatic is very nimble, very good.
And then for lots of road work, you want your power shift still.
So cab side of the machine, the first thing to note, we are increasing and introducing a new spec level on this machine. So previously we've had classic, premium, elite.
Yep.
Every one of them gains some spec as you go up. There's a new platinum level, which is lifting a new spec level again, and comes with lots of toys basically on it. All the lights, all the cameras, full auto greasing system, LED lights, so LED road lights, front and rear, all LED lights around the cab.
Just fully loaded, basically.
Yeah, basically, everything's on there.
Right.
And then also part of the evolutions, we've completely upgraded the ventilation system. So completely redesigned the fan system, what's underneath the sort of dashboard in terms of making it more effective, more efficient.
Yeah.
And then we've also increased the armrest, or changed the armrest cushion on the side, and you've now got a dedicated panel, lift up, and you can actually access some of your buttons under there.
All right.
So previously the armrest was only this wide,
the
covering that bit,
yeah.
buttons next to it. So we've made that wider.
Right.
To give you a bit more comfort. So when you are bouncing around, your arm's not going on the buttons.
It's got somewhere to go. Yeah. And those buttons that are under there, they're not like, they're like your secondary sort of setup.
It's not your everyday ones. It's things like reversing fan, stop and start maybe that we've got.
Stuff once you've set, you generally forget.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. But you've still got that cool thing where you can change your buttons around, have you?
We can still get all of those buttons on that style of button. We can move them wherever we want.
Yeah.
So just again, if there's something that you did want to move, we can do that easily. You can do it easily. Another feature inside the cab on the Evolution, is this what we call a smart counting system.
Right.
So next to the joystick, you will see another new button just down in there, and that is a counting system. So on the dashboard, you can set it to tally up every time you want to record maybe a bale or a bag of fertiliser, a bucket full. You can record that as a number.
Yeah.
You can have that recording manually on the button, or automatically every time the boom passes a certain point.
Right.
But you can adjust that point.
Yeah.
Or you can tell it that you want, 30 and count down. So it's just basically giving you a digital tally that you can use inside the dashboard, and it will record that data and you can access it later on. So maybe you're loading bales at night. And you constantly, you want to just track it, come back the next day, and you can maybe read off and see how many you've actually moved.
Got you. Good stuff. So that is.
So that is the main parts of the evolutions really. So yeah, a lot of those things are coming, spec levels, all the counting system, greasings, all available on all the range, 6 on the 6 all the way to the 7 metre.
Good
models.
stuff. And last year, if memory serves, we were talking about that integrated weighing system on one of the...
Yes, so head this way.
Right,
We'll
let's
show
get
you.
an update then. Where you're at with that.
So what we have, last year we previewed the smart weighing system.
That's right, yeah.
This year we're showcasing it as commercially available.
You can have it now.
You can have it, you can order it. The weighing system, or should I say, weighing systems aren't new. A lot of customers maybe retrofit them previously. There's quite a well-known manufacturer available that have it retrofit that system. We've now fully integrated our own system inside the dashboard, inside the machine. We've currently got it available on the MLT 841. It will come on other models, some later this year and some into next year. The integrated system uses the machine's dashboard as a display, so we're not adding an additional dashboard. We use some of the sensors already on the machine, but we also add new ones. So we monitor boom angle, extension and carriage rotation.
Right.
And we also monitor the pressure in the lift ram, the compensation ram and the bucket ram.
Right, so taking all that into account.
Taking it all into account. With that, we can provide a weigh readout at any boom position. So it doesn't matter if you're fully in, fully out.
Dynamic weighing.
Weighing reading. You can weigh dynamically past a configurable angle of the boom, which you can change, or you can take a manual reading. And we've got plus or minus 2% accuracy on that system, so it's pretty accurate, which takes a lot of configuring in any boom position. There's a lot of work goes in behind the scenes to make that work.
There's a lot of angles and positions.
There's a lot of variables that come into it. Yeah. Other things, you don't have to tear it. Any machine that or any attachment that you put on the front, you can basically push and hold the button and it will automatically tear it.
Yeah.
So there's no storing attachments in the system. Every time you change attachment, just quick tear process and away you go.
Right.
So nice and simple. We've got some different modes. You can do a basic weigh-in, you can do a target, you can add up to just monitor how much you're loading as you go through, or you can do a complete feed ration.
You've got a bit of stuff going on here.
Which we've got a bit of stuff on the screen. So the feed ration, as a driver, you can program in the dashboard up to 13 different feeds.
Yeah.
And inside each feed, you can choose from one of 40 or up to 44 different ingredients.
All right.
You tell it how many head of cattle you want to feed.
Yeah.
How many distributions you're loading, and how much nutrition of each ingredient you need per cow. It will then tell you how much ingredient in total you need per mix.
Right.
So when you come to actually do your loading, you know how much silage you need, how much...
work your way through.
You work your
way through it.
Each ingredient, and it will then work it out for that particular feed. So the level of detail that's gone into it is kind of the next stage in terms of giving that real usable sort of feature.
In terms of putting, like feed ingredients data onto the machine, is that still, what's the process?
Currently, we're early days, I suppose, really. With processes, everything's done in the dashboard of the machine today in terms of programming. Once that's all done, it's all quite quick to adjust the number of heads. So if you have a cow that calves, or you introduce some new, you don't need to all of a sudden start readjusting things. You just adjust the number of heads, and you can it automatically recalculates.
Right, got you. So you're not going to constantly have to keep adjusting stuff.
No.
Right.
Once you've got all that and you've done some feeding, you can then go in the dashboard and take a reading or see what you've done historically to get an understanding of how accurate someone's been. Or what you can do is on your mobile phone, you can also extract the data to see what's actually been fed and how accurate it's been. We also are a little bit further, and on the app on the phone, we can tell it that you've got a loading bay that's got 20 ton of straights in it.
Yeah.
You can then tell it that when you get down to 5 ton,
time to stick an order in.
Time to stick an order in. So it will monitor based on what you programmed when you feed, and then give you a notification to tell you reorder.
Right.
So a bit more giving that full kind of system
Yeah, definitely.
that works with it. And this is the first stage, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, off camera we're sort of talking about a second stage, which ideal world would be you take your diet feed plan, which has come from your nutritionist or wherever, and then just a very quick transfer to the machine, and away you go.
That'll be the next stage.
Well, that sounds really simple.
Yeah. Next stage will be, in a way, the nutritionist could do it back office and send it to the machine, no problem.
Yeah.
So that'll come in the future. It's just developments and
that's it. But it sounds like you've done a hell of a lot already, like all the foundation work to get to that stage.
Yeah. The tricky bit is getting the accuracy on the machine.
Yeah.
The software is the kind of the easy step next, really. So.
That's it.
Yeah. And we'll have it available on the rest of the range, I would say, in 2026.
Yeah.
As time moves on.
Cool. Good stuff. Well,
Brilliant.
David, as ever.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Spot on.